Growing up Gen X, we've always thought of ourselves as a pretty tough generation. I mean, we ran through city streets, biked all over the suburbs, and explored every inch of the woods and the creeks and the country and farmland. And I believe that we really need to call upon that toughness today, because there are some Gen X statistics out there that are really concerning. Now, when it comes to all of the other generations on the planet right now, Gen X only consists of around 18% of the world's population. Yet, we seem to be struggling more than any other generation in some key categories. Let's take a look at those areas that we're struggling the most in and identify the ones where it would serve us the most to turn it around. Okay, the first section, let's talk about financial and retirement pressures. Now, the first stat that really hit me was that over 50% of Gen Xers have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. That's half of us. And I know, saving for retirement, it takes work, it takes forethought, but most of all, it takes money. And when it comes to retirement, many of us are now staring it right in the face. We see the looming horizon. We know the years are counting down. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could all look forward to our upcoming retirement as a positive thing and not be filled with fear that we don't have enough money? And that brings me to the second stat. Only 14% of us feel confident enough that we'll ever be able to retire. And around 4 out of 10 of us expect to work to at least age 70. And 1/3 of Gen Xers have admitted that they've withdrawn money from their retirement accounts for things other than retirement expenses. Now, while I was doing this research, I did find that Gen X is the first generation to really take advantage of Roth IRAs and HSAs. You know, these are tools that baby boomers did not have until much later in life. So we at least have some tax advantages working for us with those accounts. Now, the second section I want to cover are health and wellness numbers. I mean, we knew we couldn't subsist off of Pop-Tarts and Hot Pockets forever without a price to pay somewhere. And I think that day has come. We're all in our 40s and 50s now, and Gen X is developing chronic conditions a lot earlier in life than the generations that came before us. Things like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and my fifth stat is that over 45% of Gen Xers are classified as obese. And number 6 is that Gen X has the highest rates of depression of any other generation, and that one surprised me. I mean, we're constantly hearing about the younger generations and how they're struggling, mentally and emotionally. But a lot of this has to do with the life stage that we're currently in. Many of us are being sandwiched in between taking care of kids and aging parents, and we know that takes a toll. But there's also this well-researched pattern called the U-shaped curve of happiness. And there's actual studies on this. I'll link them in the description box below. But the gist of it is, in our 20s and 30s, life satisfaction, of course, is pretty high. And then it starts to decline as you approach your 40s and 50s, and it hits the low point around age 47 to 50. But the good news is that it often rebounds, and going into your 60s and 70s, it goes back up. Thus, the U-shaped curve. So Gen Xers, we find ourselves right in that bottom part of that curve right now. But remember, the data shows that life satisfaction does start to improve, especially when we start to reclaim our time, simplify our life, focus on our health. Okay, section 3 is mental load and burnout. Burnout is huge for Gen X right now. And my 7th stat is that Gen X women are reporting burnout more than any other generation. More than the boomers, more than millennials. And a lot of us, we're realizing we can't take it easy in our 50s. Whether we thought we could or not, we're realizing that it's quite the opposite of that. We're having to hustle more than ever. We're trying to hold on to the jobs we have, and we're looking for other ways to bring in income as well. And let's be honest, we've been doing this grown-up working thing for a really long time now. And for some, it's starting to feel like a long, grinding slog. Instead of pulling back or slowing down in our 50s, a lot of us feel like we're being pushed harder than ever. I know for me personally, it's really hard for me to relax. I go at such a fast, frantic pace most all of the time. I mean, I'm constantly catching myself with my shoulders clenched up around my ears and my jaw, locked tight, wondering what's next on my list. Go, 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 go. And section 4 is debt and economic pressure. Now here's where the money stress keeps building for us. Number 8, the average Gen X student loan balance is over $40,000. Gen X and Boomers are actually behind on their student loans more than any other age group. And that's according to the New York Federal Reserve. That's a lot of student loan debt to still have at our age. Now, I would hope that it's not Gen Xers taking out student loans for their kids and putting it in their own names. I mean, my personal motto has always been, let kids get their own loans for education, because we can't get a loan for retirement. And retirement may come for us whether we want it or not, whether we're ready or not, especially if health issues, crop up and prevent you from earning. And when we talk about non-mortgage debt, things like credit cards, car loans, Gen X carries more, on average, than any other generation, around $37,000. And we're also the highest spending generation of all. Now here's just a random bonus stat that I found while I was working on this. Gucci reports that the number one buyers of their products are Gen Xers. Wow. But here's another stat where Gen Xers are at the top of, and it's a good one. We are the most entrepreneurial generation ever. We lead the way in side hustles, starting businesses, gig work, freelance work. But again, maybe we feel we have to. Some of it could be a choice, but for others, it's probably a necessity. So looking at these trends, it's not easy being Gen X right now. We have to remember that currently we are the smallest demographic at just under 20%. So to have the greatest numbers in so many of these categories puts us at a very distinct disadvantage. We are the generation that was raised in a rapidly changing world. And because of that, I believe we are uniquely powered to overcome. And if there's one thing about our generation, it's resilience. We don't give up. We figure it out. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about these statistics? What do you think about our current situation as Gen Xers? Do you think we can pull ourselves up out of this? Drop me a comment below. Let's talk about it. And if you found this interesting, check out this video next. How we're wrecking our bodies and exercise can't fix it. Maybe we can turn the corner on some of these dismal health outcomes that a lot of us Gen Xers are facing. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.